My name is Jimmy Reed. I'm from Flint, Michigan. In 2009, I was 42 years old.
What do you recall about your financial life before the Great Recession?
Well, I recall that jobs were plentiful, pay was good, the housing market was good. Actually, I bought my first house around that time. Got a lot of overtime at work. Didn't really worry about the economy much because there was no talk of layoffs. There was no talk of plant closings and that kind of stuff. So it was a good and plentiful time around 2007. Car sales were up. The big three were doing well. Other businesses were thriving because of the big three in this area. Of course, this is an automotive state, so everything was thriving because of the big three. Things were good.
How did you discover that our nation was facing a severe economic situation?
Well, as time went on throughout 2007, 2008, and 2009, you start to discover that there was a housing crunch. There was a lot of foreclosures coming about. People were losing their jobs. Companies were moving out of the country into other areas of the world. This being a manufacturing area, a lot of those jobs went to Mexico. A lot of those jobs went down to South America, which left Americans waiting or wanting jobs. So if there's nothing stimulating the economy, then you face a recession. At that time, we had nothing stimulating the economy. People weren't buying. People were trying to save because they were unsure of what was going to happen in the next coming years. So therefore, I mean, when you watch the news, everything was talked about was the housing crunch, was the car sales were down. The economy was tanking because nobody was buying anything. No money was being infused back into the system.
What financial hardships did you experience during this economic situation?
Well, during that time, I was laid off from my job twice. Then after that, I end up finding a new job. But during that process, I had to turn in a new car. Um, Money was tight. It was you were not able to do a lot of stuff because you weren't sure if you were going to have a check the following week. So you had to learn to save, scrimp, and hold on to stuff and not be frugal.
What did you think of President George W. Bush and the Congress's reaction to the Great Recession?
I didn't think much of the reaction at all because there wasn't much of a reaction coming from Bush or from Congress. They didn't do anything to kind of head off the recession. I'm sure the economists had told them this was coming, but no one had a reaction enough to do anything to infuse money back into the system to make sure that the economy was running smoothly enough that the housing market didn't crash, the auto market didn't crash as it did, and then once it did, there still wasn't a reaction to it coming from the president's, the White House, or from Congress.
What do you believe is our nation's greatest economic concern? Why?
I still would say the greatest economic concern is the economy as it goes for healthcare, as it goes for stimulating the growth of the economic market, purchasing, buying, making, selling. It still needs some infusion. I mean, we still need to get the government more involved in infusing people into business, into the housing market, but definitely healthcare. Definitely healthcare.
How has the Great Recession changed you?
Well, it's made me more conscious of my spending, how I save, where my money goes, how I use the things that I have or hold on to them, get rid of them, product. I'm more coupon spending, just more conscious of my income, how it comes in, and where it goes.